Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to welcome you on next Industry 5.0 keynote speech. This time we will speak about the impact of Industry 5.0 on global manufacturing and industrial environment. My name is Mike Rada. I am human, and I am the founder of Industry 5.0. And before we start, let us specify what we are talking about. What is the Industry 5.0 origin? Industry 5.0 is the first industrial evolution ever led by man, by human. It is based on the principles of systematic waste prevention applicable for industries, industrial upcycling. It was launched on December 1st, 2015 by an article called Industry 5.0 from Virtual to Physical, and it recognized 4 types of waste: physical, social, urban and process waste. The principles of industrial upcycling has been implemented since 2013 already, and thanks to them and thanks to Industry 5.0, more than 1 million tons of products and material did not become waste at the time. On May 2021, Industry 5.0 was distributed to the governments of the world, and 2 months later to United Nations. What is impact? I looked at Wikipedia to learn about. So it's high force or shock over a short period of time. In the next sentence, you will read that high force or a shock applied over a short time period when 2 or more bodies collide. Such a force of acceleration usually has a greater effect than a lower force applied over a proportionally longer period. The effect depends critically on the relative velocity of the bodies to one another. So if you look at it, we see that COVID pandemic have an impact on manufacturing and industrial environment. And we should speak about climate as well. So what it is? According to Wikipedia, it's a long-term pattern of weather in an area, typically average over a period of 30 years. It is the mean and variability of meteorologic variables over a time spanning from months to millions of years. And some of the meteorological variables that are commonly measured are temperature, humidity, atmospheric pressure, wind, and precipitation. Climate is a state of the components of the climate system, which includes the ocean, land, and ice on Earth. And even climate has been the topic which studied and which analyzed the latest Nobel Prize in Physics winners, who say that they found the patterns in that noise. What is the reality? I was born in 1971 on a Christmas day, and the planet was called blue marble at the time. In 2019 it was not blue anymore because it was covered in smoke and environmental damage. But in 2020, again the blue phase show up, not thanks to COP or human behavior, but thanks to COVID, which locked us under the doors. We are living on a planet around which we have been able within few decades to create a landfill with 170 million pieces of space debris, pieces smaller than 10 centimeters. But you have to add another 650,000 of 10 to 30 centimeters and 80,000 plus bigger than 30 centimeters. We have created a landfill on our orbit. And what we do to the planet? We dig inside, because the only criteria of success is more. No matter what you are speaking about, more money, more houses, more companies, more people, more. Look at the Fortune 500. There is only one criteria. We are living on a planet together with 7.7 billion people, not knowing that 200 years ago it was just 1 billion. And 100 years later, means 100 years back from now, it was 1.5 billion, which means within 100 years, we have been able to have 5 times more people on a planet despite 2 world wars and 2 world pandemics. And in 2050, there should be 11 billion people living on the planet. And just now remember the last image. We are living on a planet in 206 countries, according to UN 193 or 196. We are speaking 7,000 languages. We are driving 1 billion cars, and we let 9 million people dying hungry, despite the fact that more than 23 million metric tons of food and crop are scrapped every single day. We let 800,000 people die thirsty every single year, despite the fact that only California crude oil industry consume every single day 347 million liters of drinking water. We plant our food to throw it away because the leaves are not green enough for the buyer in the retail chain store. We throw our production surplus in the rivers and on a landfill not to spoil the price. We carry our water in firefighting tanks not knowing that the same amount of water is needed to produce just one and simple hamburger, and we do it on a planet on which one sip of water can save not one but 2 people. We are running factories with the walls full of environmental certificates, and behind the walls there is a landfill. We store our not used packaging to trash it because we don't use it. We throw away products which are not perfect for one, but can suit many hundreds of others. We do it under the supervision of World Bank, who says that till 2050, the waste volume will be growing. In some destination, it will double. It says at the same time that almost everything can be recycled, reused, or repurposed, but in fact only 13.5% is being. This is why the waste industry became the third most profitable industry in the world after the war industry and crude oil industry. And because of the troubles of the crude oil industry, it is expected that soon we will live in a world where the war industry and the waste industry will be the most profitable industries on a planet. What is the connection and influence between climate and Industry 5.0? Climate influences the planet Earth on a global scale. So does Industry 5.0. Climate influences the life of people. So does Industry 5.0. Climate have a direct impact on the industrial development. So as Industry 5.0, and Industry 5.0 does not waste. Same as nature. Industry 5.0 represents the global ecosystem. Same as nature. And Industry 5.0 reduces the negative impact of human behavior on a planet. So does the nature. Reducing, wasting, reduce negative impact and improve climate conditions. The transformation and evolution is greatly visible on COVID-19. It started in early 2020. The transformation in all countries all over the globe. Industry 5.0 principles are prepared the ground for the transformation since 2013. And it does so to minimize the negative impact of impact, delivering the palpable results. There are only 2 topics which are common in all industries, and they are the connection of all industries. The first one is money. Everybody speaks about profit. And there is nothing wrong as long as you do not hurt anybody or the planet. But the second, which nobody speaks about, is waste. I realized it back in 2010, and in 2013 I started to build wasteless world instead. Until I introduced industrial upcycling, there was nobody in the world, not a single company, not a single person who ever tried to prevent waste happen on industrial scale. Since its introduction, everyone can choose what he or she prefers: generate waste or profit, because there is nothing in between. Unfortunately, for a long time in the hands of waste industry, we have tried to build our future on top of a waste pyramid. But there cannot be any future built on a top of a pyramid. Even the great Egyptians has not been able to do so. And when I realized that, I tried to find out a new groundstone, which is more stable, which is applicable, and which deliver the results. How? Firstly, you have to recognize that something must not become waste, and trust me, it's not easy, especially if you see it as waste all the time before. Secondary, you have to consider what to do with it, and it's much more harder than you will expect. But the third point I love most, you realize what will happen if you fail. There will be waste, still you save it for some time. You may fail second, third, 10 times, but trust me, one day you will succeed, and maybe that will be the day when you change the world. And this day will change your life completely. What is the value of waste prevention? What do you think? It's 8-time global GDP in a year. And already on the first year, you can cut by 50% the waste management cost. What will come next, and what must come next? The unity. Because instead of competition, cooperation must come. We must keep together in integrity, following one non-financial aim. The sovereignty of countries will deliver through local satisfaction the global harmony. And everything must be done transparently, because only so we must not fear fraud and data leaks. Everyone must be responsible, not just financially, but overall. Responsibility must be addressed, and longevity, not consumables, not single use, but memorables must be created. And the efficiency must be applied within the entire product life cycle. Because meaningfulness of work will deliver meaningful life. There has been many keynotes delivered in 2020. Many came in 2021, including the last forbidden one for COP26. But do you know what? On January 7th, 2021, European Commission adopted Industry 5.0 and included it in the European Sustainable Development Framework. 1 year earlier already, India started the age of Industry 5.0 after I delivered the keynote. And on October 19th, United Nations, for the first time ever, spoke about Industry 5.0 on the World Investment Forum. So what is Industry 5.0? It is the first industrial evolution ever led by man, by human. It is the new mindset of people and businesses from wasteful to wasteless. It delivers results without the need of capital investment, and it's based on the principles of systematic waste prevention, industrial upcycling, utilizing existing on-the-ground mines, and is based on transparency, profit sharing and efficiency. But please do understand, Industry 5.0 is not a sales tool or a product. Dear ladies and gentlemen, we are living in the times of digitalization of our work. For second year, we are living in the time of digitalization of our education. And our leisure time has been digitalized a long time ago thanks to mobile phone, computers and TV. So it looks like that the only missing part for satisfaction is to digitalize the human. But if we do so, our home and our life will look like this, because data don't need any light. I realized that more than 10 years ago, and I started to change the world. I built my home. I built wasteless world for all to live on. And trust me, I'm not alone. I'm just a simple man. My name is Mike Rada. I'm human. And more than 77 Industry 5.0 ambassadors all around the globe open the gates to wasteless world to 65% of global population. Dear ladies and gentlemen, I have decided what I will do, in which world I would like to live. Right now it's your time. It is your time to say, what do you prefer? To leave a landfill behind? Or a blue planet on which children and grandchildren would be able to run and play without a face mask on? Caring of the planet, of the home. Dear ladies and gentlemen, have a nice time free of waste and wasting in all its forms. And please, stay safe.